Now to start putting together the metering blocks, let's start here with the first one. We've got our 70 jets here. We're going to go ahead and screw those in by hand. Get both of those started. And we'll screw those down. And then we'll take our screwdriver here. Find a screwdriver that fits nicely. Make sure you got it positioned in there good. And snug them down. Don't go crazy. Make sure you got it in there, sitting in there good. Tighten them down, okay? That's all you need to do. Now the next thing, let's go ahead and install our, we have these little cork gaskets here that we're going to install into the sides so that we can install our mixture screws, okay? So go ahead and you can take a pick or a small screwdriver and you can go ahead and push this gasket down into place. Let me get my little screwdriver here, because once you get the cork piece started there, you want to kind of push it and seat it, okay? Because it has to go down in here just a little bit before it actually seats up against the metering block itself. So make sure you can see that. Okay, let's flip it over. Let's install the other one on the other side. And we'll just start it by hand. Sometimes it's kind of tough to get it started there. And then once again, take your screwdriver, push it down into place until it seats. Now this time you can go ahead and install your mixture screws, okay? So let's grab one of them, and your mixture screw looks like that. It's got a tapered tip on it, and go ahead and just install it. See if you can start it by hand. If not, go ahead and take your screwdriver, put just the slightest bit of pressure on it, and go ahead and just start turning them in. Careful not to cross thread. Just go ahead and get them started. They should go real easy once it gets started. And we'll tighten them all the way down until they seat, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and get these installed, and then we'll talk about adjusting them. Okay, now that we have our idle mixture screws turned all the way in and seated lightly, let's go ahead and put our screwdriver on it. And what we're going to do, we're going to back off one full turn, okay? So there's a half turn, there's a full turn, okay? That's going to be our starting point when we crank this thing up. Usually anywhere from about a half a turn to a full turn is about where you get your idle set anyway. So we're just going to go full turn, and that should be good to go. We may not even have to mess with that adjustment when we get the car cranked up. Now with two more things to do. First of all, let's go ahead and install our power valve. Got a brand new power valve here, brand new gasket, and the kit. Let's go ahead and install it, and go ahead and it goes on the back side here. Go ahead and get it started. Make sure your gasket stays in place. There we go. It's looking good. Make sure it don't get cockeyed as you screw it down. So there we go. That's looking good right there. Now, don't want to go crazy on tightening this up. Just take a socket, fits it. Actually, this 27mm here works pretty good. Put it on here and just tighten it up a little bit by hand. Just snug it up ever so slightly, okay? No need to go crazy with it. So now, all we have left to do is let's flip it over. Let's go ahead and put our bowl gasket in place. The metering block has these little tits that stick out here that fit into these holes here. Now this gasket here already has a hole down here at the bottom on both sides, so you can't put it on wrong. And what that hole has to do is allow fuel to pass through here from the metering block to the area on the fuel bowl where the accelerator pump is. So this here, it doesn't really matter. You can't mess it up. So go ahead and pop it in place. Push the gasket in place on the little tits there, and it should hold the gasket in place for you. Now on the other side, we have two metering block gaskets that are identical. They're the same gasket. And so we're just going to grab one of them. And you can't really go wrong with these either, because they will only go one way. There's a tit sticking out here about midway down, and then there's one sticking out right up here, probably about a third of the way down. So go ahead and stick the gasket on here in place, and you're good to go. This metering block is ready to be installed. So we're going to go ahead and lay it over here with our front fuel bowl. And now we're going to go ahead, I'm going to go ahead and put the rear one together, basically the same as the front one. Only thing is, we don't have to install mixture screws on this one. So let's get this one set, and then we'll move on to the main body.